Welcome back to another episode of the Planify podcast. I'm Casey Cease, and today I'm here with my good friends Jason and Kellie Sartain. They are the owners of the Sartain's Awesome Shop. You're going to hear an amazing story of how they went from some garage somewhere into a dilapidated building they redid, all the way to F1, sushi by scratch, all these great opportunities from the town of Bellville, Texas, which if you go look at Bellville, Texas, it's not huge. It's a few thousand people. Great community of people, but it's a small place. And so we're going to talk about their journey. We're going to talk about how strategic generosity and intentionality has really given them an opportunity. And if you think about their name, Awesome Shop, that's a high standard to live up to. And these people are doing it. And so you're going to learn a lot about business. You're going to hear a great story. And hopefully you might be interested in going to buy some custom wood art, is what they like to call it, not just furniture or walls. But they're amazing people. So you're really going to enjoy this episode. Hey guys, so glad to have you on the podcast today. Why don't you just take a minute and introduce yourselves and share a little bit about what you do?
Thanks, Casey, for letting us be here. My name's Jason. This is Kellie.
Hello.
Hello.
And we own Sartain's Awesome Shop. All things awesome. We are a high-end woodworking company. Basically, we do furniture, fixtures, architectural design elements. Pretty much anything that has to do with wood, metal, glass, and lighting.
He's the builder, Bob the builder, and I am the finisher. So I do all of the finishings, kind of work with the clients as well as Jason. Both of us kind of work together on creating whatever the client wants. But I do more of the finishing side.
And you're also the organized one. You're also the social media guru. You're also a lot of different things. So don't sell yourself short. But so how when did you start Awesome Shop, and how did that come about?
Awesome Shop was like 2000. It kind of morphed into Awesome Shop. So like 2014, 2018 officially registered as Awesome Shop, but been operating, I think, about 2016, give or take. I was in full-time ministry and kind of transitioned out with a mentor, took me into project management, and then sought about every 6 weeks to pull me into his office and say, I'm looking for a reason to fire you because this isn't what you're supposed to be doing. But I wanted to train you. I wanted to give you some business etiquette and put me on these projects, that how project flows work and working with multiple outcomes and multiple people and all that stuff. So ultimately helped me transition, very flexible on time and days and work schedule and everything else. And 2019, I was pretty much ready to leave. Obviously had projects in the hopper, had a place, garage, and that we kind of worked out a big working garage, and sat down with a mentor, and he said, there is no guarantee that there will be jobs if you leave, that there will be jobs on the end of it. But I can guarantee you that if you don't leave, there won't be. And so then it was just a kind of like Red Bull gives you wings type thing. Like, we're just jumping off and we're going to go for it. And really it was very simple when we started. The metrics were kind of jokingly, how many tables do I have to sell a month to make my overhead?
Yeah.
And my overhead was extremely low at the time. And I've always considered myself a person of big faith. God can move mountains and things like that. But I never imagined taking that leap that day, what it would become. Even, we'll fast forward a little bit to buying our first brick and mortar building and talking with the electricians and lighting setup. And I'm like, oh no, I just need these pieces of equipment. Cause I was just so focused on how many tables do I need to build a month to make my nut. And Kellie was at the time, full-time occupational therapist for special needs children.
Working in Katy. And so my schedule was literally driving to Katy every day.
From Bellville.
Yes, from
Okay,
Bellville.
so you're driving from Bellville.
Yes.
You're building however many tables and trying to sell however many tables as you can.
Uh-huh.
So
I'm driving.
You're kind of the sugar mama,
Yeah.
in the nicest way
Well,
possible at the time.
sort of.
Yeah.
We believe it or not, we were living. We were neighbors. We had one house in between us, and at the time we were not married yet. We were engaged, and so our family. We obviously have. He's got 3 kids. I've got 3 kids, and so merging a family of 6 was virtually impossible to find a house large enough for the 2 of us. So we stayed neighbors. We had a house in between us, and then I drove to Katy every day, saw 6 patients, would come home, be the mom that picks everybody up. Then I would go to the shop and we would hit it hard and constantly, remodel. We had to remodel the shop. It was a torn down. The city wanted to tear down this building. It was so bad. And so we jumped in full force to remodel. And then that kind of took us to the next stages of building the business. Definitely a trying time. I look back at that and go, how in the world did we do that? But it was obviously God getting us through, because if we had to do it again, I don't know that we could.
Yeah, you don't know what you're going into. You just have this goal, and I think that's one thing that's been unique about us as a couple. If we rewind, we took a trip in 2018 to Fredericksburg, and we stayed in this really cool little boutique hotel, and the designer that designed it had 3 properties there in Fredericksburg, and her take was just on things like she would put 2 things together that just didn't make any sense at all, and just very cool. So it was kind of like this inspiration. Well, we asked the manager of the hotel, like, who designed this room? He's like, oh, well, she has shops down here. And so we go, you should go check it out. So we go and we visit it. And as we walk up to this building, I'm a firm believer that God listens to the things that we don't even whisper. And this vision that I've had in my, longing in my heart that I hadn't even really spoke about. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is what I've envisioned my whole life. Crazy. Just right there in front of me. And we go into the place and she's just like, she's not talking. And I'm like, and I'm thinking to myself, I've got to tell her. I've never told her this. This is crazy. And I'm like, hey, Earth to Kelly, like, what's going on? And she's just staring around and she's like, this is awesome shop. And I was like, right there, like, drop to the, will you marry me kind of moment. Like, oh, wow, this is so cool.
We actually, to caveat to that, we leave from there and we go, there's a little burger joint right across from this torn down building that I was speaking of a minute ago. And we grab a burger and I looked at him and I said, okay, so about that leap, we need to make the leap. And we were not married yet. And at the time we weren't even engaged. This was
so
just a
y'all were dating.
Yeah. Literally
living in 2 separate houses on the
building
same
a
street,
business,
starting a business together
with 6 kids,
with 6 children. You're making huge cash as an occupational therapist, I'm sure.
Yes, at the time.
The multiple millions.
Of course,
right?
Of course.
Yeah. And she wasn't even really part of anything that we did. It was just, this is what I do. It wasn't like this. It wasn't an entity. It was like, hey, this guy does this. And so she's
I was still full time. And so we're eating a burger and I looked at him and I said, you're going to think I'm nuts. And he said, what? And I said, I'm pretty sure that that's the space. And he looked at that building and was like, what on earth? No. And I said, let's just go check it out. I said,
hey, Kelly, do you understand the definition of awesome? Because that building,
well, it wasn't even for sale.
Yeah,
there wasn't a for sale sign, and so
didn't know who owned it. I mean, I grew up in Bellville, but I had no idea who owned it. I remembered it being open when we had first moved, but it had been closed since I was in high school.
Yeah.
And so super. I mean, it looked like a hoarder had been in there and just left it.
Yeah.
Well, city council said it was to say that it was that the building is a dilapidated piece of crap would be an understatement of the year.
Yeah. I mean, they genuinely wanted
That
to
was
tear
on
it
a
down.
formal city document.
Yeah.
That was on a formal city.
So we
council
went
meeting.
and we peeked through the windows, and he's looking at me like, this is crazy. And so this is where God comes in. So an unbelievable story. So on the weekends, I would actually help Jason. We did market days, which I mean, literally dragging. If you've ever been to a market day, you don't drag hundreds of pounds of furniture out to a market day unless you're us. And we start at 6 a.m. and it's him and I, and we are dragging out these massive pieces of furniture to sell, and none of them sold. But what we learned is that at that time, it was all about conversation and building relationships. And every single market day led to another job or a conversation about what we were doing. And so while we were transitioning with the building, we were able to do these market days. I mean, when I say work, I mean, we worked 24/7 until late at night, just to get it open. And so we would drag the furniture in and out. It would always lead to another job. It might have been just one job, but it led to one. Eventually, I was able to quit my job. Well, so to speak. I do still see patients just to keep up my licensing, and just because I love it. But I was able to go full-time Awesome Shop later. But the coolest thing that happened at Market Day was we were still trying to figure out who owned that building, right? Initially, we didn't know who owned it before we started looking at it. At Market Day, we and I jumped ahead just a little bit, but
It's okay.
But before we started remodeling, obviously this all occurred. We were trying to figure out who owned it, and this gentleman came up and said, "Hey, you guys are Awesome Shop, and are you looking for a space? Blah, blah, blah. What's your plan?" And we said, "Yeah, actually, we've been actively looking at that building across from the hill." And we said, "But we don't know who owns it." And so in that conversation, come to find out, he said to Jason, he said, "Well, I know who owns it." And Jason said, "You do?" I mean, we've contacted a ton of people. No one knows. And he said, "Yeah." He says, "It's your neighbor behind you. You share a fence." So Jason and I finally figure out who this guy was. He was super great and cooperative. And we end up talking with the local Chamber of Commerce. They open up the building, and we go inside and see all of the things that were still in time. He used to be a boot and saddle repair man and was super popular, and all of the things were still in it. So it was almost like it just was stuck in time. Super cool.
15 years or something.
Something like that. Crazy. Yeah, it was very, very cool just to see the history. I mean, there was tons and tons of things in there. So fast forward, we obviously made an offer. He accepted the offer, and we hit the ground running shortly after that, for sure.
Yeah. So we 2019, we purchased the building. In October. In November, we get married. We go to so that designer that I was telling you about, we go back to Fredericksburg and meet her. She prays over us, build a relationship with her, prayed over the business, built this relationship with her. And then we were, I think, 3 days. It wasn't a honeymoon. It was a drive up,
full force in work mode.
And so when we had sold the building, we gave him 45 days or so to get everything out. He was like, "Well, you can have it." And I was like, "We really don't know what to do with all this stuff." So he got it all out. And we came back. I think we stopped, got home and went straight up there and started ripping everything out and completely gutting and renovating the entire space. So we basically opened it up. We put new beams, headers, collars in, painted new windows, siding. And so that transition was through to 2020. And thankfully we got all of
COVID.
So thankfully we got all of our stuff before the big nasty COVID thing hit and all the things shut down. So,
but again, it was kind of crazy because of the timing of even COVID. Everything was shut down, but it also allowed us to be there full time. And then because we were considered essential furniture makers, we ran with that. and we did not close, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
In fact, everybody had a lot of time on their hands, so they were super curious about who's the new guys, what's happening in the building. It created kind of honestly, God used literally every single thing in a positive way to open another door.
Everything, because even the first year of business when I moved to Bellville, I mean, she looked at me and she was like, "Hey, this is small town. Like, I don't think your skinny jeans and flat bill hat from California, vibe is gonna fly here." And I was like, I'm not changing who I am. And it just, so I want to say is our first year of business literally was for all of the businesses in
Bellville.
in Bellville. I had spent so much time trying to not like run away from my past, but like trying to get like, okay, I'm done with that. I'm on to woodworking. And the owner of one of the businesses in Bellville, the meat market, was kind of like a muse for me. He was like, he saw this piece of art that I did, and it was just like a cutout thing, no big deal. And he was like, "I got this idea, and come and talk to me about it." And so it started out with some signs for the processing center for the meat market, and then I took opportunities to showcase other work that I did. Like, "Hey, I know you wanted to do this, and I was going to charge you this for that, but I'm going to go ahead and do this instead for the same price." And I made a lot of those kind of decisions to. It was expensive for me, but when I look at like marketing dollars and spending marketing dollars versus proof of concept, I have an ability to see things before they exist and imagine them. A lot of people don't. And I had to realize the clientele. So like, if we want to build something, we want to go in this direction. I have this idea. We have to show it. We have to show it somehow. And so like the first year of business, literally God opened up doors to work for all of the businesses in Bellville. And then so we were just in front of all the movers and shakers in Bellville. And then the donation thing, like where I come from, like banquets and like, what? No, they're all fundraisers for all the different organizations. And so we were
we gave a lot of things away.
A lot.
I mean, the Welcome to Bellville sign we built initially as a donation just to get our name out there.
Yeah.
But I mean, that is marketing.
It
right?
is marketing.
Like, I mean, the brand recognition, you're establishing yourself. I mean, oftentimes I'll go invest up front, especially if I'm creating a new offer. I'll go and really just put out there and say, "Hey, I'll give you a complimentary marketing strategy." When I was starting Planify, I was like, and you guys are doing like pricey, time consuming type things.
Yes.
But, I've gone with AI and built things for people for AI. And half the time they're like, "I want that. Can I pay you for it?" And usually I was like, "Well, I meant it as a gift." Like, "No, let me pay you something." But that concept, like everyone's so scarce in their mindset. What I'm hearing is you guys I know your story. You didn't have a whole lot at the time.
No.
And you came out and said, "We're going to give." We're, especially in a small town in Texas, coming out with generosity, coming out with not entitlement that we're new here, so you better do something for us. You're saying, how can we improve this space? I think is a brilliant strategy in general, but also as far as marketing goes, that's the best thing you could have done.
Yeah.
And what you're doing, Jason, what I heard you say is you're curating the experience for people where you're willing to give them something of even higher value for what they're willing to pay to put on display the quality of your work.
Yeah, we made a decision that whatever we did, it didn't matter if it was a $20 project or thousands of dollars. It was going to be done well. And if it was in the name awesome, then it better be awesome.
Yeah.
Because
last thing we want someone to say is,
awesome.
Yeah, the product
cool.
was awesome, but the communication was not awesome.
Right.
So from the top down, honestly, we try to give a good experience.
Quite a bold name to take on, right? Because, there's a lot of things today that just aren't really awesome anymore.
Right.
I mean, I was dealing with a credit card company that used to be awesome.
Right.
Right. Their concierge was awesome. And now I'm like, I think I might move on.
Yeah.
Right. Everything is kind of like meh. And if it's above meh, it's great. But you guys have really been intentional. But I think it's important for our listeners too, to hear that, hey, there's times where generosity might seem counterintuitive, but that is really the play, because especially when you believe in what you do.
Yeah.
You believe in what you're able to do. So fast forward us, you guys, okay, you really start opening up 2019, 2020 during the pandemic. You're serving the local community. That's great. You're in Bellville, Texas. Population what? Like
4,000, 5,000.
5,000 people, right?
Somewhere around.
Halfway between my booming town of Brenham of 25,000,
Right.
and Angela's booming town of Sealy of like 7,500 or whatever it is, right?
Sealy sucks.
That's right. There you go, Bellville. Yeah, there you go. But
Sealy does not suck.
I know, I'm kidding. It was a
right,
joke.
all the
They were
Sealy
our
people
rivals
are-
though in Belleville.
That's
Yeah.
right. I understand. No, I understand rivalries, and some people are like Uncle Rico and still get stuck in high school. So there you go.
No, I didn't even go there.
Yeah, you were in California, man. What are you talking about? So we fast forward. Okay, you're just faithfully putting it out there. You know, Kelly, you do really well on the social media, and I know you're like, I'm okay, but you're consistent. You tell the story. You put it in front of it. You do great work. Let's fast forward, because there's some opportunities that doors that got it open for you guys along the way. From one guy coming, I think he came in to get an org
Correct.
replaced or repaired or something. So tell a little bit about that, and
Good old
and just
Alex.
yeah, and then the doors that opened from there, and some of the other opportunities you guys have had. I mean, the business is what, 6 years, 7 years old from
Yes.
your location.
Yeah,
I mean,
we're in our 6th year at the location.
At the brick and mortar.
It would probably 8 years, I guess, would be putting it like full time, kind of,
Yeah.
dialed in. So at the time we grew really fast, and so we hired a bunch of employees to help us manage flow. Had some great employees, really kind of came back to a lot of mistakes were happening and things we couldn't put our hands on everything that was going out. And so we decided to contract people instead and kind of keep the team real core small. But at the time I was out doing an install. This guy comes in, big energy drinker. And one of my employees calls me. He's like, dude, there's a guy from Red Bull here. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, talk to him and see what he needs. And it's all good.
And we were thinking he's here to just bring us like a Red
Yeah.
Bull fridge, or we're
Yeah.
we're a storefront. We're gonna sell Red Bull.
And he was the sports marketing director for the Red River region of Red Bull, and they were doing the
MotoGP.
Red River Rapids.
Oh, that yes.
And he was like, we always do these really unique trophies for the winner, and so can you restore this? So yes, well, we restored this ore
That was bought
paddle
from a
that
local.
was bought from another local store in Bellville, and then when he came to pick it up, I was out of the shop again, and so they called me and they're like, hey, he's here, and I said, cool. Yeah, like my thing is like hang loose, right? So I said, ask him if he can get a picture of the winner holding the ore with the hang loose and with our logo out, because he's like, yeah, put your logo on it. That's cool. Whatever. So he does that. And he sends us the picture, and it's like, it's the winner. And he's like, it's cool. So professional shot. And so then he comes back in for his personal house and then
Yeah,
met
so
him back. I was out again. So this third time.
So I'm in the shop. I'm running the shop, and he and his wife came in, and they were interested in a mantle, and they're super minimalist, which is completely my style. And so I kind of walked them through the mantle, got to meet them. They loved the mantle. We installed the mantle,
and I was finally there. I was able to be there for the install.
Yeah. And so we meet him and his wife officially in their home, became fast friends with them. Truly, truly great people. Yeah. And so we move on from that project. We take pictures. He absolutely loves the mantle. And then we go back to the shop. And then it was not long after.
It wasn't long after.
When
So
he came back in.
He comes back in. He's like, hey, man, what's going on? And he's like, so I need 6 walls in 7 days delivered out to Austin, but I only have like $5,000,
and they needed to go to the track. To COTA.
And so he's like, and I need you to deliver them too. Can you do it? And I'm like, thinking in my head, no, but I said yes. And first of all, because walls and what he was looking for was a little different than what we ended up. But again, the generosity thing, we went, let go big, go home type thing. And so I looked at the team. I said, this is going to be like 6 to 11 o'clock, kind of hours. Are we all in? And everybody's like, yeah, we're all in.
Everybody was all in for Red Bull. And it was really funny because later Alex came and he said he would drive to Brenham because his wife's family, they have property here in Brenham. And he said, yeah, I was driving there about 2 a.m. coming home from, and those lights were on. We said, you know why?
We were still there. And so I pack up and I've got my truck and it's wrapped and it's, I'm thinking like, hey, we're coming out there. And like, I just, early on in kind of just career, I did some stuff with trade show booths and learned how those get broken apart. And so like, I was just thinking, no, this is modular and you can use it here and there. And this is going to be so cool. And I knew about Formula One basically from pole position from, the original Nintendo, right? I did not know the culture and I had no idea. So I roll out there and I pull up to the track in COTA and I'm like, I am so out of my league. I mean, there's Ferraris and all the trucks and the semis and then the track is just huge. It's crazy. And I get there and they are scrambling to get this suite set up and this on the track and all this crazy stuff. And I'm like, well, I got all my tools here. I can help. And they're like, really? I was like, I mean, yeah, I'm already here. Well, can you come back out tomorrow and we need to do this? And these screens aren't up and these walls are going on these screens. And I was like, well, look, I mean, I was worship pastor, creative arts director. Like I know how all this stuff works and I can put these TVs up and mount them. You would do that? And I was like, yeah. And so I call her and she's like, yeah, do it. So we get in with them. And then as a thank you, they bring us out. They give us a ticket for Saturday, which is the qualifying.
Yeah.
And this world that we were immersed into. And so we go out there and like, we're like looking up, like what's Formula One attire and all this
we
stuff.
had no idea. He kept telling us you need to show up at this time. And so we had no idea about this culture. We show up at this time. He's like, I have a surprise for you. And we see this camera crew come out and they're all standing in front of our work and realize, my God, these are the drivers. So we have pictures of Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez standing in front with all the media and they're answering questions. And that's our wood wall behind us. It was insane. Yeah. I mean, it was honestly surreal because in that moment we realized, wow, how in the world did we get here? Obviously only God. Honestly, Alex.
Yeah. Alex
believed in us and he loves Texas. He loves everything that looks like Texas, from the cowboy hats to the rustic wood. And we went big and we took a chance on it.
Yeah.
Didn't make any money, but the experience was amazing.
The experience was cool. And so then when he had us there, he was busy doing all this stuff, but he took a break and he's like, hey, come sit down with me. And he was finally got to sit down and eat. And he took us out to the track side and he goes, you see that? You see that tent over there? He said, that's the owner's suite. And he's like, I want to do it better next year. I want to create a better suite than his suite. And I'm gonna come and talk to you about it. And sure enough,
we weren't sure. I mean, we weren't sure if those. Sometimes there's conversations that don't really pan out. So we were holding loosely.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many trust me, bro conversations I had when I hook somebody up or take care of them. They're like, hey, we're gonna take such good care of you, bro. We're gonna spend so much with you.
Yeah.
And then, like nothing comes of it. But it's like, I mean, that's part of the gamble of business, right? Is saying like, hey, this is how we are. This is what we do.
Right.
Because we value the opportunity, we're going to go above and beyond. And some of them, sometimes there is an Alex that actually follows through.
Yeah. And we learned very quickly, he's a man of his word.
For sure. And he follows through.
That wasn't your last time at F1.
No.
So that turned into conversations about the F1. But then in the meantime, they were getting ready for MotoGP, which is the motorcycle version of Formula One. And they needed more walls and it was like, okay, well now we've got budget. So we were able to make those walls for them. And then those walls then got utilized in this grander plan. And basically what he came to me and he said, I want you to Texas the bleep out of this thing, and gave us the reins. And we designed this entire suite, wrapped all of the columns and beams and brought in our furniture and like just really proof of concept of all the stuff. And then from there, it was like, it was there. And then it took like 4 months for us just to shut all operations down, focus on that, get it all set up.
Because we did beams. His idea was, I need this. He said, my clients are used to being in a space that looks like a multi-million-dollar space. And while this costs multi-millions of dollars, at the end of the day, it's still a tent. And so he wanted it to look like a permanent structure. And so every single piece of, like, the tables, the coffee tables, the beams, the wood walls, down to the charcuterie boards, literally was all us. The only thing we didn't make were a couple of bar height tables, chairs, and the couches. So just to stop and look and go, my gosh, this is huge for us. We really didn't grasp that concept until, because it is literally balls to the wall.
Yeah.
And then you tear it all down.
And it's gone.
And then you just stop. And then we unloaded everything and just stopped and went, holy cow. That was like, what a ride. That led to filming with Red Bull. So we were able to do a short film that's still out on YouTube, which is pretty cool. And it's called Our Journey to F1.
Yeah.
And literally Red Bull landed a helicopter, staged a police chase, and involved a Porsche. What kind of Porsche?
GT3.
A GT3.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Yeah.
So we have been able to do these large scale things just by our art, which is kind of incredible.
So like you kind of, like, the work speaks for itself. And I remember before all this started, before we even met, I did this Katie Home and Garden Show thing. And there's this designer, and she was like looking at, like, staring at, I was like, is she checking me out, or like, what's going on? And she was like, you have a perspective. And that was the first time anybody ever said that to me in that context. And so our perspective, we just trusted our perspective and trusted. And so we get there, and this was like our perspective on steroids. And it was just this big, huge whole tent, $3.5 million tent that was awesome shop. And the quality of just the people that we met there, people that are pushing the needle. I think it was the most interesting thing is, like, in our small towns, like, you have a conversation. Hey, how's it going? Oh, it's going. What's new with you? Oh, nothing's new. It's all good. And for us, people would ask that question, and then we kind of got tired of talking about ourselves, but we weren't talking about ourselves like in that way. It's just, there was so much happening. So to be a part of
telling the story was an important part of our story, and how because honestly, building those relationships at Formula One ended up leading us into our most recent endeavor.
Yeah. Like, being around people that push the needle too. So like, it's, when I talk to you, it's never, oh, nothing new, same old.
Yeah,
like, we've always got, and when you surround yourself with people that you're the center of attention, and you're the one doing stuff. It's like, oh, cool. Maybe I can start believing my own press. No, when you're around people that are pushing needles bigger, better than you, it just inspires you to do that. And that's what we were able to be a part of. And so then it was people that we met there. Then, I don't know how far you want to go into it, but like the Sushi by Scratch Kitchen. And then we go to Sushi by Scratch Kitchen and meet the director or the manager of a hotel. And then they want, things. And then Sushi by Scratch opens another restaurant, and we meet the other hotel, and then so.
I think that's your KPI too, the key performance indicator of, like, you say you're going to be awesome, which is a heck of a claim. The proof is in the pudding that you have been awesome, that people are willing to open doors for you. They're willing to introduce you to people. They're willing to do more business with you, because you recently installed the Sushi by Scratch new sushi bar, which their sushi is amazing.
Yes,
it is.
The only sushi I've ever had in my life. But
and you'll never eat sushi again.
You ruined me, I
think.
You're
welcome.
Anywhere else.
After
that ain't going to happen. But from Sushi by Scratch in Austin, in Dallas, all the way now to Utah, to other locations, to a manager of a hotel, to Adirondack chairs. So the Awesome Shop is doing awesome work. So our time's wrapping up here, but where can people come learn more about the Awesome Shop?
Yeah, so we have our Facebook platform, our Instagram platform, and then obviously we have our website, and then we have our showroom in Bellville. That's our brick and mortar where you can come in, and it's a complete display of work that we do, and you can either buy it off the shelf or hand select your slab. We have 2 mills there, as well as a wood kiln, and so we do everything on site. And then we can also come to your place or use your wood. So our location is in Bellville, and you can find us on social media.
Yeah.
And that's
Awesome Shop, SHOPPE.
Yes.
SHOPPE,
The proper way.
That's the proper way.
That's right.
The French way.
This is the French way. So, you guys, thanks so much for joining me today. I'm sure we'll chat some more.
Thanks for having
Thanks.
us.
Yeah.
You bet.